I think Daniel Roseberry, the creative director, did a very good job. He was inspired by the Barbie doll Solo in the Spotlight from 1960. This dress was worn by Claudia Schiffer in 1996 at an after party. It is clear that we are talking about a certain Barbie doll, but it is something that could be a contemporary design. Hi, my name is Liz. I'm a fashion and art historian and also the founder of Pelagona. And on this channel, I'm diving deep into the history of garments, the designers who bring those garments to life, their cultural significance, and the stories behind fashion trends. And I'm really excited because this month is pink. The Barbie movie is coming out, and as you may know, I'm a Barbie collector myself. And with a passion for fashion, of course, I followed closely the press tour and all the premieres. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to analyze the outfits that Margot Robbie, who is Barbie in the movie, was wearing. And I'm going to look into the story behind which Barbie dolls were the inspiration. There were some vintage outfits, there were some custom-made outfits. And as you may have expected, all the big brands are involved. We see Chanel, we see Versace, Schiaparelli, Balmain, and many, many more. So I'm really excited about this video today. So let's take a closer look. Before I go into every single outfit, I would like to give you some context about the styling of the Barbie movies. Jacqueline Durran, the stylist of the movie, said she was inspired by the 80s and 90s and she looked at dolls and fashion trends of that time. Why did they choose the 80s and 90s? It's quite a simple reason. Greta Gerwig, who is the director of the movie, loved to play herself with Barbie dolls, so they just chose this time period. And what is important to know, this is also the time when Barbie became really, really pink. Before that, pink was a color, but the Barbie core that we know today started in the 80s and 90s. So when we look at the outfits, we have some outfits that are clearly certain dolls, and then we see the Barbie core element. But even though pink is the dominant color, it's not the only color that we see. So Durran said she also wanted to mix it with pastel colors. We see a lot of pastel green, we see also some blue, sometimes even white and navy blue, so different colors. This is the overall picture of the movie. But they don't only focus on this 80s and 90s Barbie core. They also want to show the development of Barbie since her birth in 1959. And we see some 60s outfits incorporated. We also see some clear references to the earlier Barbie dolls, which I personally find really nice to have both elements. Now let's look into the outfits. I would like to start with my favorite outfit first, because it was a very pleasant surprise. It was not the expected pink Barbie core. It was very elegant, very classy, and still we got the Barbie hint. I'm talking about the gown by Schiaparelli. And I think Daniel Roseberry, the creative director, did a very good job. He was inspired by the Barbie doll Solo in the Spotlight from 1960. And he managed to take this gown, and we clearly see it's the Barbie doll because Margot Robbie also has the blush pink handkerchief. She also paired it with a diamond choker. It is the Barbie doll, but somehow it could also be a gown that she could wear at any occasion on a red carpet and not necessarily pass as a Barbie doll. And I think it's really beautiful because with this whole topic Barbie, it could be easy that some outfits look a bit costumey, and I will touch upon this a bit later. But this is very classy, very beautiful, and I also appreciated that Roseberry showed this development of Barbie, that she was not always this pink stereotype. Let's jump from Los Angeles to London, because I'm filming this after the London premiere, and Margot Robbie last night wore a gown by Vivienne Westwood in blush pink, and they reference the Enchanted Evening Barbie doll from 1960. It is a similar idea like the Schiaparelli gown that I just discussed, but if I compare the two, I think the Schiaparelli one is a bit better, because I found the Westwood version a bit too costumey, exactly the problem that I mentioned before. Especially with the white cape, I did not really see Vivienne Westwood. I saw only the doll. When Margot Robbie took off the cape, I found the neckline really beautiful and flattering, and this was more along the lines of Vivienne Westwood, so I really like this. But if I had to choose between those two gowns, I think that Daniel Roseberry for Schiaparelli did a better job, because it was a reference to the doll without looking like a fancy dress party, if I am very critical here. I know that a lot of people online love the blush pink dress, but for me it fell a bit short. It is no surprise that we see a lot of Chanel during this press tour, because Margot Robbie has been an ambassador for the Maison since 2018. I particularly liked one of her outfits that she wore when landing in Australia. It was a vintage Chanel tweed jacket with casual pants and the typical Chanel two-colored shoes. She even had vintage luggage, which I found quite a nice ensemble. So Andrew Mukamal, the stylist for the whole press tour, did a really good job with this one. And it is taken from the runway. Claudia Schiffer wore that outfit in 1996. There was another Chanel outfit that Margot Robbie wore in yellow. And at first I was like, okay, now she's wearing yellow, but it makes sense. I mentioned before that for the movie, the stylist chose pink as the dominant color paired with other colors, and yellow seems to be a main color. We see that a bit later with the Valentino outfit. It was a nice pop of color, and I always appreciate when it's not only pink when we talk about Barbie, so I think that was quite a nice surprise. What this press tour already shows us is that we can expect a lot of Versace during the movie. Margot Robbie has already been spotted in multiple outfits, vintage and contemporary. The first one was a cropped cashmere sweater with a mini skirt that was shiny and also pink, and it was actually taken from the Gianni Versace campaign 1994. And similar to this, Margot Robbie wore a mini dress, which is also pink and very glittery and shiny. And this is also not a coincidence. I find it a very good move by Mukamal. This dress was worn by Claudia Schiffer in 1996 at an after party. And when we think about it, it was the late 80s, the 90s. Claudia Schiffer was the supermodel. She was blonde, she was tall, and in my opinion, she just stands for the same beauty ideal as Barbie does for the 90s, this confident, blonde, tall woman. So I think it's a very good move, not only taking these vintage items, but also vintage items that were worn by Claudia Schiffer. Versace also made a similar design to this vintage dress in a contemporary custom-made ensemble for Margot Robbie. This outfit is based on the Day to Night Barbie doll from 1985. I appreciate the idea because this Barbie doll shows how feminist Barbie is. She's a working Barbie doll. She is in this business suit with a matching hat, and in the evening she just quickly changes for her evening event. So I get why they chose that outfit. I just think this contemporary design again looks a bit too literal, too costumey. I find that the doll version actually looks classier than this real-life version on Margot Robbie. So unfortunately, this was not really one of my favorite designs. Margot Robbie also wore another Versace ensemble during a TV presentation where she wore a corset with the Medusa on the straps. So judging from the number of Versace that we have already seen, I think is quite dominant. I also looked into the current outfits of Versace, and we see a lot of pink polka dots, which also probably is not a coincidence. So maybe there was some kind of collaboration going on here. Another brand I expected to see a lot was Moschino. Moschino has collaborated with Barbie and Mattel multiple times already. In 2015, Jeremy Scott, the creative director, designed 2 Barbie dolls, and in the same year Moschino had a Barbie collection. And in 2019, Moschino designed the Camp Barbie doll for the Met Gala. So I was already waiting for some Moschino outfits, and we got to see one in South Korea. It was a bright pink ensemble based on the sparkling pink Barbie doll from 1960. It was an okay execution. I liked the outfit also for the reason that it was not a literal execution of the Barbie outfit. It was quite nice, but a Moschino outfit that I actually liked more was a white dress with a floral pattern, and it kind of gives this late 50s, early 60s vibe of the Barbie dolls. I think Margot Robbie looks amazing in this outfit, and she also wears these typical peep-toe mule, which are so typical of Barbie. So I actually think this was another example where it doesn't have to be pink, but we know it's a Barbie outfit, and it is just a very, very beautiful execution. Moschino had a third outfit that I spotted in blush pink, which is a jacket and a miniskirt combination with quite a cute handbag. It is okay, but I'm not sure if this will be an outfit that everybody of us remembers of the press tour. This late 1950s, early 1960s outfit by Moschino leads me to another great example of the press tour. It's by Hervé Léger, and I have to say they didn't have the easiest tasks, because it's the bathing costume, the black and white bathing costume of the first Barbie doll that they turned into life. But I think they did a fabulous job. Margot Robbie looks great. It's a mini dress, which looks very contemporary. And what I like about it, similar to the Schiaparelli gown, it is clear that we are talking about a certain Barbie doll, but it is something that could be a contemporary design that we could see in the fashion magazines today. So this is clearly one of my favorite examples of the press tour. Moving on from a very good example to two outfits where I was a bit disappointed for the reason that I really liked the Barbie dolls that served as inspiration for these outfits. We are talking about the Totally Hair Barbie from 1991 and the Earring Magic Barbie from the same year. Funnily enough, I always wanted to have these Barbies. They never made it into my collection, but this is a different topic. I knew, or I expected, that somebody would pick up on those two, because when we think about the time that Greta Gerwig was playing with the Barbie dolls, these two were really, really popular ones, and they are also they wear this typical Barbie core look. So when I take the Totally Hair Barbie compared to the real life Margot Robbie Barbie in Mexico, they used a Pucci dress, which I think is a great move as a first step, because personally I love Pucci, and the Pucci patterns are very much aligned with the whole Barbie universe. I just think that this particular dress was not the best choice. It made her look a bit pale. The reason why they probably chose this Pucci dress is because it reflects the color scheme that I mentioned before, the pink paired with other pastel colors or yellow. So that was the reason. I just thought the whole styling, maybe also the hair, was not executed in a great way. I also didn't like the big Chanel logo earrings. I know why Mukamal picked them, because they directly reflect the earrings that the Barbie doll also wears, but it's just a bit too much with the Pucci pattern. So unfortunately, even though this is a really great Barbie doll, the real life execution was not that great. And another example that fell a bit short is the Balmain outfit based on the Earring Magic Barbie. I don't really want to be too negative, but I just didn't find it classy at all. It looked a bit cheap, it looked very costumey. Margot Robbie wore the belt that you got with the Barbie doll, where you had the earrings on this chain belt that you could then wear yourself. It was a really nice idea, but the execution was just not great, unfortunately. I do think we will see more about Balmain, because in one TV interview, Margot Robbie wore a dark pink ensemble, a crop top and a longer tweed skirt. Let's see what Balmain has to offer during the movie. Moving on to Valentino, this is probably one of the outfits that you have seen on social media. It is bright pink with white polka dots. It's a mini dress with a wrapped top, and it actually is based on a 1993 Valentino runway design, which was worn by Karen Mulder. Pier Paolo Piccioli brought it to 2023 to this Barbie universe with a bright pink color, and he also paired it with a yellow handbag. It's again the color scheme that I mentioned before. I understand why he had to do this, just to fit into that overall scheme. I personally actually prefer the 1993 design. It is also not a coincidence that Pierpaolo Piccioli opted for pink with white polka dots, because this is an outfit that Barbie has worn multiple times throughout the history of Barbie dolls. And this particular design is based on a 2015 doll from the Pink and Fabulous collection. I think it's a nice attempt. I'm not sure if it's something really iconic that we will remember from the movie. I do expect to see more Valentino during the movie because Margot Robbie was also wearing a Valentino dress at the Kelly Clarkson show. Again, this dress, it was nice, it was pink, but I'm not sure if those two outfits will be something that we will remember as iconic from this whole press tour. Moving on to an outfit which illustrates the reason for this whole Barbie movie, we shouldn't forget this is a big marketing campaign for Mattel. They probably have analyzed the success of Lego with their movies, so they try to also copy that or exceed that with that Barbie movie. So of course, the reason for this movie is to sell more dolls. Margot Robbie wore a Prada ensemble in Las Vegas, which had a blush pink gingham pattern. And this is similar to the outfit that she wears in the movie when she plays Barbie. And also this is the outfit that the main Barbie doll that Mattel is already selling wears. So I think this shows already the strategy of the whole movie. Last but not least, I would like to mention two Bottega Veneta outfits that Margot Robbie wore already. One is in a very iconic picture. She is in front of a pink convertible. The outfit is fun, it's nice, but somehow the convertible is more important than the outfit. And similar, Margot Robbie also wore a travel outfit by Bottega Veneta, and it was nice, but again, I'm not sure, similar to Valentino, if this will be a very iconic moment for us. What can we take away from this press tour? I think it's a great sneak peek of what we can expect from the movie premiere next week. There will be a lot of pink, a lot of 80s and 90s, which is a very intelligent move in my opinion, because it is kind of nostalgic. A lot of us probably have played exactly with those Barbie dolls. We grew up with her, but it also opens the way to the next generation of Barbie doll owners. We know that Mattel had some troubles reaching this generation. So from the marketing and business perspective, I think it's interesting. Also, of course, from the fashion perspective, I think we can expect a lot from next week. I liked that it was the pink Barbie universe that we have seen so far, but it was also paired with different colors and different perspectives. I particularly enjoyed the vintage moments. I hope to see much more in the movie, and from what I read so far, I think they incorporated a lot of vintage moments as well. And what I particularly enjoyed is that they didn't stop at the pink Barbie stereotype. They gave us many dimensions, many facets of the Barbie dolls from different perspectives. It's kind of like the development of the Barbie. And as I mentioned, the two examples that I liked most were the Schiaparelli and the Hervé Léger interpretations of the Barbie dolls, because it was a very different perspective on the Barbie. It was a Barbie without being too literal, without being too pink. It is a very grown-up, a very classy version, and I think this might be a hint of what we can expect in the movie. I'm very excited about it. Of course, I'm going to watch it, and I'm going to post and produce much more content about it. There's also an article which I have just published on the pinklookbook.com about the analysis of the press tour and the premieres, if you want to read more. As I mentioned before, this video was filmed one day after the London premiere, but the article will constantly be updated because there are still new outfits coming online. So if you want to learn more, just head over to thepinklookbook.com. And if you enjoyed this video, just like and subscribe. And I will see you soon with more Barbie content to come. Goodbye.